Chain wallet? Why not? Spike jacket? Sure. Brass knuckles? Whatever. What's going on, Metalheads? Thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson. I am your host. This week, we haven't had this gentleman on for quite a while, and he has Diana already in his lap.
Ready to go.
Here. Dramatic effect.
I'm not going to pick her up. Look at this baby. Look at this pussy we're holding. Look at this.
Look at that
sweet baby. Said, you guys are about to record. It's time to
It's time to get the love. It's time to get the love. Ladies and gentlemen, from Louisville, Kentucky's own May Flowers bring she doom. She, Mr. Bale Robespierre.
That's me. Hello. Greetings, humans. It's me, Lord Bale.
Lord Bale. Lord of She, how are you?
Man, we're doing good. Thank you for having me over. We were talking a minute ago that, it's been, was it 2021? It had to have been.
It had to have been because...
shortly after COVID.
Yeah, it was shortly after, because we had talked about doing it on Zoom, that we were just going to do audio, and I said, what if I did this, and I actually bought a handheld recorder for that.
Yeah.
And it was like my first time using it.
Really?
Yeah. When I had done your all's episode, it might have been during COVID.
I mean, so during COVID and after COVID are such nebulous terms, right? It's not like COVID just stopped.
I'm thinking it was
probably 21. It was after we were told, like,
I'm going to go to the website.
We all generally were like, okay, I think we can get away with hanging out a little bit now. Like, things were starting to open back up. It was probably 2021, I would guess. Because it probably would have been corresponding to us being done with the second album, with Facebook Visitors. Because that's why we probably would have reached out or set something up. Was to be like, hey, we have a new album coming out, and you should enjoy it. And that would have come out in 2021.
Hang on, I'm looking.
We're looking through the.
I'm looking through the archives for this.
Did Control F not find it?
I didn't look at that. Silver Talon. I know it was in summertime.
Sounds right.
I'm not seeing it there. Let's look in 21.
Truck flag, man.
Yes.
There it
20.
is. Okay, so October of 2020. So that would have been still COVID was still a thing we were worried about.
Yes.
By that point. So
there were two starting to be planned.
Yeah.
And shows starting to be had.
Yeah, we risked life and limb to meet up in October of 2020.
Yeah.
Our health and wellness would have been suspect. That would have been when we would have probably had been started recording, maybe.
Probably because I believe the first album had just came out.
Yeah, so the first album would have been scheduled. We dropped it January 31st of 2020 because we dropped it, and then we're like, oh, we should probably tour to support that. And we were working on putting together something for April or May, and then March 2020 was when everything shut down.
Yeah.
Because we had a show with what was her name? Some band from Chicago, not Temptress. Something, it was a name like that. I don't remember the specific name. But we had a show at MAG, and we were like, yeah, it's coming up. We're so stoked. And then as things started shutting down, we got the DM. They're like, hey guys, with how things are looking, we probably should reschedule for later. And then later
became a year later. It was we were like, okay, it's on hold. We don't know what this is. And then it was just so wild.
Yep.
Yeah. I had a show at 21st.
Oh man.
And it was a punk show, and that show was doomed from the beginning.
Yeah.
I got shit for a flyer on that for a punk show.
Mm-hmm.
I got shit from the venue because of it. And then it was just the show that just was too stubborn to die. And then a year later when things were opening back up, I was still just I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Taking that year off from booking, it kind of really did help the mental health a little bit.
Yeah, man, like stepping away is not a bad idea, especially if you've been burning the candle at both ends for a while. And I mean, I think everything has to have its season a little bit, right?
Sure.
Or go in cycles. Like we've definitely gone from being very show heavy to just like doing nothing but writing, and then it's like recording time, and then you get back to doing shows and such, and kind of having that rhythm to it again, much like the seasons. You're like, all right, well, we're in show season, and then it's, writing season. And for us, at least, it's been kind of mandated with our work schedules where Jace and Zach both work at UPS. And so whenever
I know exactly how that goes.
when November hits, it's like, well,
everybody's on a mandated break.
Yeah, like where they disappear, and me and Tyler kind of meet up, and we do most of the writing or like really flesh some stuff out, and then they come back in January-ish, February sometimes, and then it's like, okay, like what did we figure out? And then we kind of move from there. So
dude, right there, totally get you in that, because my brother in arms, Mike Taylor, same way. He works at the Big Ups as well.
Yeah,
and every November we're the same way. It's like, all right, dude. He's like, peak's coming up. It's like, and I'm always like, can we always get this one last show in?
I just
can you do it on the 6th of December?
I just sent we got asked about a show like in early November, and I think we're taking it. I can't remember either way, but like it's one of those things where it's like, which week is the final cutoff? And really, it's more for Jace. His schedule is more rigid than Zach. Zach has a little bit more flexibility and isn't quite as impacted, just nature of his work at UPS. But Jace is like doing the UPS thing. And so when
throwing packages,
when he gets hit by peak, he's getting hit by peak. Whereas Zach, it's like his work basically stays the same through peak, but it's like it's still functionally the same. So
sure. And Mike's kind of the same way. His is still kind of functionally the same.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit busier because
or he has to help
what he does. Yeah, because he works in like fueling and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So like,
more planes.
You're running, and the calculations that I couldn't do that. Like, how much can you do for the calculation? Okay, well, the payload's 55,000 pounds.
No thanks. hard pass doing the math of that. I'm just like, yeah, no. Although
and they're flying to Phoenix, which is like 1,200 miles, and it's like, how much gas do they need to get there? And it's always like on fuel. No, it's not. But
it's not. The government says you have to have a certain overage, underage, and all. Yeah, for
you said the G word.
The government.
You said it again.
Sorry, man.
Stop saying it. It's gonna appear. It's like Beetlejuice.
There's certain things where I'm like, you know what, the government's okay about. Like, if they come in here, if health and safety comes in and says, listen, we don't want you to get listeria, I'm not going to tell them to go fuck themselves. Now, in other things, they can go fuck themselves, but
okay.
Although I guess given the current climate of things, I don't know if I trust hysteria. I don't know if I trust them to keep hysteria out of our water supply.
Let me educate you on hysteria.
It's good for you now. We want you to get it.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody needs a little poop in the water.
A little worm in the brain. What can you do?
Look at me.
Oh, I don't want to think about that right
now. Gosh,
I'll give you that. You have every right to call me out for bringing up
so anyways, the last time you all were on the show, we did a whole band interview, and it was fun. I remember we did part of it outside.
Yeah, we went out onto the back porch.
We were on the back porch, but the neighbors' dogs, it was so nice out, and we thought it was going to rain.
Yeah.
And this is just going from memory, because I didn't re-listen to the episode like a dick. But as I was sitting there, and I was just like, I remember it was supposed to rain, but the neighbors' dogs kept going bananas.
Yeah.
And we were just like, wait, what? It's like, maybe we should move this inside. And then when we moved it inside, it went a whole lot cooler, and was just like, everybody was so rad in the band, and everybody is so rad. And I love seeing you all play. And Unfortunately,
Clarksville
social
State.
anxiety gets the better of me a lot of times, and I don't make it out as much as I used to. And but it's always a thing of making that, what's that? First foot out the door, Frodo.
The first foot out, 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, it's the first start of any journey.
This is the furthest I've ever been from home.
Yeah, right.
Another step. It's the furthest I've ever been from home. Another step.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. And sometimes you got to do it that way. So in the time, as we've talked about, you've done an album, you've done another album.
Yeah.
So the last album that y'all did was in 24.
Shit, has it been? Damn, it's been 2 years.
Per the Metal Archives page.
Well, and
let's consult them. Actually, they do know a lot, but they don't know a lot.
Boy,
as well.
Howdy.
Pure Disgust 2024.
Wow, it's been 2 years already. Well, that time.
Well,
flies.
hang on. Let's see when Pure Disgust came out. November, so almost 2 years,
almost
18 months at this point.
Yeah.
So what's going on? I mean, you all just got off a run with Fairy Ring.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty cool, rad, little weekender, little 4 or 5 day deal.
It was a blast, man. The Fairy Ring dudes are just the best boys. They've been supportive and chill with us since day one. We first really my first conscious memory, and I'm sure we played with them prior to this, but let me talk into the mic more.
Yeah,
see, you told me
that I was just looking at it, and it was fine, but
now we'll bump her up. All right.
Yeah.
So we first,
these 7Bs are a little finicky sometimes.
I understand.
They don't have the cloud lifter on them, so they're pretty much maxed as it is.
It's yeah. So so we would have run into the Fairy Ring dudes probably around 21. I would guess. So we probably played with them or knew of them prior to that, but we set up a show out in Alton, Illinois, which is on the north side of St. Louis. I just remember hitting them up and being like, hey dudes, we're going to go play this show out in Illinois. I don't know if you would be interested in coming and playing, but we would love to play with you. And they were like, yeah, which has basically been their whole thing the entire time is if you ask them to come play a show, 9 times out of 10, they're like, yes, we'll come play this show. It seems
cool.
So we made good friends with them, and they've always been super chill. And yeah, I'd been bugging them for the last 2 years or so about hey, we should set up a weekend. And they're like, yeah, just let us know when you want to do it. And we had tried setting one up last year, and just the timing didn't end up working out. Where we're like, hey, do you want to come on this route with us? And they're like, we're not in the cards. Cool, no worries. And so then for this past weekend, I think it was just last weekend. When I was setting it up, I messaged him. I was like, hey, we're looking at these dates. And very specifically, I was like, you guys need to get up to Pittsburgh with us to meet our friend Riff Zealot because he likes you. And Pittsburgh is rad. And they have the best pizza in the world. And so we need to go take you up there, take you to Pittsburgh and back. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And so the dates worked out. And so, yeah, getting to spend 4 nights playing tunes with them and hanging out was unreal. It was super fun. Feel very fortunate again to have made friends with them a few years ago, and they've blown up, and they did a tour with Castle Rat, right? Castle Rat's one of the biggest bands out there doing it right now. And so those dudes are right on the cusp of being that band. They're so close to just really blowing up. And if this next album that they have cooked up, they played a number of songs off of it on these last shows. It's that next step of it's still that heavy hard rock thing, but it's got licks and parts that my dad would like. It's got that broad appeal to where they could play any show and people are going to be stoked about it. Watching a bunch of kids up in Indianapolis who I'm like, yeah, these are hardcore kids and they're losing their mind over Fairy Ring. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to blow up when this drops. So.
Yeah. And that's what music I think is desperately missing is some of that now, because there's so much and by the time this drops, on the 19th, this is going to already be probably an out of date conversation because the crowd killing.
Yeah.
And the banana suits and stuff that's been coming up. Yeah, that's been coming up. And it's just does it belong in metal? It's I don't know. At that point, That's
Metal,
all.
no, but yeah.
But I mean, at some point, does it? Because look at Party Cannon, look at
Yeah.
Belushi Speedball,
Yeah.
look at bands like that. You know, if you're saying that they don't belong at some degree, I mean, crowd killing's one
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, so that's what I meant was like crowd killing doesn't belong in
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't belong in anything because I think you're allowed to like what you like as
Yeah.
long as it's not hurting people.
Yeah.
If you like hurting people, then I think you should maybe seek help. I mean,
Go to the therapist. Yeah.
yeah, maybe. I mean, check local listings,
Yeah.
something like that.
See your local EAP portal. Although if you're me, our EA or sorry, is it EAP or EAB?
I'm not
Basically,
sure.
the employer assistance EAP, the
Yes,
employee assistance program, the portal where your HR department can then say, hey, if you blow your brains out, we can at least say that we tried to help you and cover our asses and don't have to pay out your life insurance policy. But
exactly.
we don't have to actually make
We're
it
getting back
functional.
into the G word here
Boy,
again. We're getting back.
that's not the G word. That's the E word. That's your employer. That's
Yeah,
the
but it's
C
all,
word. That's capital.
but it's all because of G incentives,
A little bit, yeah.
tax incentives, and
Or trying to avoid litigation.
yeah.
All that is to say, yeah, the crowd killing thing. I mean, man, like if you again, what a bunch of
If you want to crowd kill, go to a Nazi rally and crowd kill that
yeah.
shit.
Well, if a bunch of adults want to get together and do that, if you and your buddies want to get together and beat the piss out of each other, sure,
Go join MMA.
Yeah, well, not even that, but like go do that. But the minute you bring that into somebody else's personal space who hasn't signed up for it, that's where it's an issue. And
Yeah.
like there's an argument to be had of like, well, if the hardcore scene is about that, then like sure, have that discussion amongst yourselves, but also don't then get surprised if people aren't stoked about being a part of it. And I know that that's kind of my observation is that's also been their take is like, yeah, man, like don't come to hardcore shows unless you're okay with getting crowd killed. And I'm like, well, that seems like a really easy way to not have people want to come to hardcore shows. And some of the people in that scene seem to be okay with that. And hey, that's more power.
That's
to
their
them.
scene, and that's the whole thing. But aside from that, I will say this, and shout outs need to be given to this gentleman.
Okay.
Because he is the best in a pit.
Okay.
Nagel.
Nagel is pretty gnarly.
Nagel is amazing in a pit.
Yeah.
Because he is just like intense up until he would be a amazing professional wrestler.
Man, he's got the look.
He's jacked like a son of a bitch.
He's just it's also that mustache. He looks
yeah.
shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
But not only that, but like he could do it because he's intense all the way up into the hit, and then you're just like he makes contact and you don't feel a thing. And I'm just like, dude, you are the best person to mosh with. I love you so much.
Nagel's good people.
He is.
I'm too old to mosh. I'm too old to do hardcore dancing. I'm too old to crowd kill. I'm too old just to mosh in general. I'm firmly in the back of the room, arms crossed, going, yes, I'm having a good time and enjoying just being here. And I'm super stoked for the kids that are moshing and whether that's the hardcore dancing thing, which isn't my thing, but like, hey man, again, if you're doing something and having a good time and not in hurting other people, or if the people who you are hurting are consenting to it, they're like, yeah, we're doing this thing here in this space. Hell yeah, all the power to you. It's more about, for me, if you're putting that into someone else's space who hasn't consented, then that's where there's an issue for me.
No, I totally agree with that. And yeah, just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
I mean,
be nice.
Everybody needs to get steam out, and everybody has their own way of doing it. Just, I think the problem is nobody is mindful of each other anymore. I think, COVID let us be mindful of our personal spaces again.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now it's just like, it's almost how it's like at a show, it's all back in, and it's kind of weird.
So from running sound up at MAG as much as I have, and I've run for a swath of genres and styles, and I'm definitely fortunate in that I can pick the shows that I run sound for generally. I just get sent a list of dates, and I usually pull up the calendar and I look and I go, is this a show I'm interested in running for or no? And then if it's one I'm interested in, I go, yep, I'll take that. Or if it's one I'm not, I just don't say that I'm available for that one. But I do actively try and pick up a swath of genres and styles. And so like, I'll run it for maybe not like the hardcore shows as much. I've run for a few of them, but not as regularly. But like, man, what's been very clear to me is that the kids that are going to those shows ultimately are just there to have a good time and blow off steam.
Sure.
And some
just
of them
like we were.
Yeah, exactly. Just like and it's so cool to see, the same kind of energy and thrill that I had when I was 16 in high school. And this kid in my art class mentioned he was going to a show. And I was like, well, what's that mean? I was like, he was the 17, 18, he was a senior and I was a junior or sophomore. And I was like, what do you mean going to a show? He's like, yeah, up at the VFW shelter house. The Models We Frame are playing on Friday night. And I'm like, who are the Models We Frame? He's like, they're a local band, or not local. They're a band. They're, so-and-so is in it. I'm like, oh, can I go? And he was like, yeah, like you just show up and pay. And so like me and a buddy of mine went up there and saw a bunch. It would be the same as again going to MAG, but it was at a VFW shelter house. So a bunch of like local bands and one touring band doing spin kicks, and it was a bunch of high schoolers, and we're all like, oh my gosh, this is so sick. And like that was my introduction to local and regional music.
So you're talking like 2005, 2006.
Yeah, it would have been around then.
So about 20 years ago for you.
Yeah.
And and I totally get that, because when I was 16, 17, we didn't have places and I was in a small Indiana town.
Same. Yeah. Jasper.
Oh, wow.
Growing up in small town Indiana.
Yeah. So we didn't have anything to do. So what we did, and I know all about your town, Jasper and everything. I know about that because like they're going down the main drag, like 231 or whatever there. We're going past the Walmart and all that. And
well, that's where that VFW was the north side of that Walmart.
Yes. Yeah. And I was going to say, because there's an FBI post that's right up by there.
Oh, yeah.
And all this other crazy shit. But no, it's a beautiful town.
Yeah.
But like, just like that in Pekin, where I was from, we started booking shows at the fire department, because our one of my friends, their dad was assistant chief of the fire department, or in one of the captains, because he'd been on the VFW or the VFD for so long.
Yeah.
And so it was like $50.
Yep.
And like a $25 deposit.
Yeah.
And he had a PA because we had already played in a band.
Yep.
Because that's just how we had done it, and booked a band from Borden, a band from Salem, and that was how we did it.
Yep.
And we had done 2 or 3 shows that way, and really started a kind of a scene in that part of Indiana.
That's what happened for us in Jasper and the surrounding area. Was basically the same deal. A bunch of hungry high school and like early college kids being like, there's nothing to do here. Like, somebody has a PA and we've got $50 to rent the VFW out. Let's see what we can do. And so like there was like 3-ish local bands between Jasper and Huntingburg, 3 or 4.
Right.
And so it was like every month or two you would have those bands, and then some band from out of town that was touring and needed a date to route through. And so they'd be like, like there's this band, The Mosaic from Tampa, that played like Norma Jeannie kind of metalcore of the 2005 era. They played there multiple times, and they would route through Jasper because they played the one show and like, holy hell, like we just had like 50 kids in this VFW shelter house spin kicking. This is great. And it's in the middle of nowhere. And like, let's route it.
And we made a decent amount of money doing it.
There was a band from New Jersey called We're All Broken that came through.
Okay.
Same kind of deal, where it's like they made friends with someone in the area, and then when they came back through, they routed them through there. there was a band from St. Louis called Calico System who was on like Eulogy Records, like not an insignificant band. And I'm pretty sure they had their album release show in Huntingburg, just south of Jasper,
Yeah.
because there was kids there and they had made friends, and they're like, oh man, like they played shows regionally, and they're like, yeah, like we're gonna play this show in at the oh golly, it was like the Forest Services shelter house outside of Huntingburg.
That's
like,
amazing.
And you're just like, again, just this random little shelter house where you could go rent it out for birthdays and whatever. And we would rent it for $50 and have a show. Like someone would show up with a terrible PA, but like you plug in, you plug in, you crank up, and you just do it. And you're like, all right.
And and you did it. And and then you had the ones where, like the park shelter houses where they had tables, and then you had taken like 6 tables and and duct taped them together and made a little drum riser and stuff. We'd done stuff like that. And oh my gosh, I still to this day have Surviving Thalia recordings from like 05 at Beechwood Park in Scottsburg, Indiana.
Oh, that's rad.
And Mike still has them too. And because I keep all of that stuff.
Not my only, one of the,
I try to be a big archivist.
Dude, I love archiving that kind of stuff. If only just to, again, hold on to those memories and to kind of remind yourself where you came from and what you've done. One of my gripes with my bandmates, I'll throw them under the bus. I'll do it all, and I'll tell them to their fucking face all the time. So I don't know if we talked about it during our last conversation, but I've had this conversation with several people before. Tyler, our drummer, and myself are kind of yin and yang insofar as our batteries. So like we're both introverted for sure. It manifests in different ways, but like musically, especially, we're very not conflicting but different. My battery for music is filled by live performance. I love playing shows. I love going and doing the road. I love to play. Like there's very few shows that I would say no to. Like even if it's a show that doesn't make sense, even as a show with like a bill that's not like great to my ear, like I just like playing. And I find joy in not only playing the really cool shows, like being like, oh hell yeah, do you guys want to open for touring band, like national band? It's like, hell yeah, that's great. But like if someone's like, do you want to play this show with like bands that don't make sense, I more often than not am like, yeah, I'll do that, because there's also some joy to be had of being like, hey man, when I was in high school, there was a band from Tampa, Florida, playing with a bunch of high school kids who sucked ass. We were bad at being a band in high school. But you know what? That touring band came and played, and we watched them and we're like, oh, that's how you be a good band. And so somewhat selfishly, I am of that opinion of like, hey man, like if we are tight and rehearsed and we take it seriously and we put our time and energy into it, you can model that behavior for other bands too.
Sure.
Old and young. And so I'm open to playing pretty much any show. Tyler is the inverse. He hates playing shows. If he had his druthers, we would be a studio only band, because he is filled by writing. He wants to write and record. That's his thing. He loves writing. He loves going down, and
he doesn't like the hassle of getting out.
Yeah, he's like, and it makes sense. He's a drummer. He's got the worst of it all of pulling things, but like he likes to workshop ideas. He likes to go down and like spend a day just like recording a riff like 30 times, then putting it into Reaper, and then being like, okay, what's the next part? And like writing stuff out. Whereas I am way more like in the room, like, let me just pull a riff out of my ass and like, let's see if it feels right. And like writing,
that's kind of how I am.
Writing drains me, and playing shows fills my cup. And Tyler's drained by playing shows and filled by writing. And so it's good that we balance each other out ultimately, but it does mean that like I get given grief for a show we played in like 2019. I think it was pre-COVID. I don't remember for sure, but we played back kind of towards Jasper in Fulda, Indiana, which is on the way to Santa Claus.
Yeah.
We played at a shelter house and Fulda is a town to give a ton of credence to it. It is, I don't even know if they have a stoplight in Fulda. But they do have a baseball field and they do have a shelter house attached to the baseball field.
Okay.
And so we played
That
this.
matters.
Yeah, we played this show at this shelter house attached to the baseball field. It was like supposed to be this reunion show of like bands from the area and the bands of the bands from the area, which would have been us. So we like went and played, and it was like everything was run off of one extension cord plugged into a light post outside of the shelter house. The shelter house room didn't have any outlets. So we had one extension cord into a power strip, everybody plugging into that. And like, it was just the biggest shit show. And I had the best time because it was just like being in high school. It's like a bunch of kids out there having a good time and like doing the thing. And the rest of the boys are always like, you remember that shitty show we played? I was like, you mean the awesome show we played?
Yeah,
it was so much fun.
It's like they didn't experience those shows like you did or I did, because I think I think honestly, we were talking a minute ago off camera about you could do a show here in Jeffersonville and you could do it on a Wednesday or on a Friday, and you could do a show on a Saturday or a Monday, a day or so difference in Louisville.
Across the river.
And you cross the river and you won't get an audience that jumps on both sides. You might get some. You might get your diehard people that come out to everything. But you don't get that as like a normal thing. You get your Indiana crowd, you get your Louisville crowd.
Yeah.
Which is great because it's like a twofer.
Yeah. You could tour 3 different shows in this area.
Yeah, because technically you could come to New Albany too.
You could do a New Albany show, a Jeff show, and then you could do like a show at Mag, and then you could do a show at like in the south end of Louisville, and again different crowds and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was gonna say, is because that was their being from around the city area. You know, being across the bridge, you know, you had you had a whole different scene.
Yeah.
Not only did you have the scene in the city, but even the outskirts of the city, like Bullitt County and stuff like that, was wildly different back in the day too. Like I remember driving all the way out to like past Bullitt County Fairgrounds to play a show in like a metal fest, you know, in a field somewhere with a plywood stage.
Yep.
And then it just not end up happening because again, you said the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, it was being run off one extension cord, and
there was hope.
and you were hope. It was like pull and pray.
Yep.
You know, and you're just sitting there and you're doing the gig, and then you get in there and there's like the cord gets drugged through
the wrong bit of mud and now it's shorted out. It's like, well, we don't have power for this show now.
Or you do have power, but it's like it's not grounded properly, and one person keeps getting shocked when they touch another person.
The person touching the mic, and you're like,
yes.
That was the Fulda show. That was me. And so that whole show, I'm like, all right, normally I'm up on this mic. I'm going to stay back here about like 3 inches from this mic. I'm just going to yell real loud and hope for the best.
You know, that was probably one of the worst moments for me. It was at a practice actually, and I had it was a metal, like the round based mics.
Yeah.
But it was a metal base like that.
Yeah.
But it was a triangle, but it had flat sides on it. Right.
Yep.
So it was just like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I love those stands because they're so heavy duty. But when those little rubber feet break off, it's the worst because, you know, it never sits right. Well, I used to sing on that 55.
Yep.
And the house wasn't grounded right.
Oh.
And I went and I stepped and I made contact with my toe on the mic stand, and it hit me in the face right here in my mouth and stuck and shocked me. And I'm just sitting here like doing it's like the great outdoors over here.
Yeah.
And it's 110, but it's just it's like that. It's like being hit by like an electric fence constantly.
Not a fan, man. I hate getting shocked. So
me too.
That stuff like nightmare fuel.
It is. And like I constantly go back to watching the guy who does his home electric work or whatever. He's like, make electric guitar. Seems pretty easy. You just have guitar and electricity.
Yeah. And
he hooks up the two the positive and negative, plugs it into the wall, and and zaps himself on
Oh
purpose.
God. Again, nightmare fuel.
Ugh,
Duh. Electricity, not a thing I ever want to mess with. Like,
no,
keep the magic smoke in the capacitor. That's all I know, and that's all I need to know. Just and the rest of it, stay away from it.
exactly. And and here we are basically carrying enough of it to
Oh yeah,
around our ears each day.
I'm certainly not so naive as to not think it's like, oh yeah, no, you're constantly surrounded by things that could very easily end your life if you mess with them the wrong way. But a little risk, it's whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just like, getting back into the conspiracy thing here, like we were kind of mentioning earlier, about like how we have a finite supply of petroleum, 125-year cap, but yet everything we make contains it.
And we continue.
Every plastic piece, every guitar pick, every little knick-knack, every little toy.
And worse yet than that is we keep refusing to do things to be like, well, what if we didn't need to use that thing that we have a finite amount of, and instead tried to do anything to move towards a better thing? Well, it's not enough. Well, yeah, but it's something. Let's just make some level of progress. A little progress is good. You gotta
yeah. I mean, and look at our vehicles. Our vehicles were so terrible 40 years ago and stuff, and now we've made all these like modifications, but yet we've added so much plastic to them now that it's like it offsets every bit of it. And I don't know why we just like completely went into a Joe Rogan episode. But
I'd prefer not to go down that route if we can.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to do
Take
that.
a hard pivot out.
Yeah. So
be excellent to each other. Done.
Yeah, that's about all you got to be. Is be cool to each other, and just.
You got onto this thread just to really quickly rewind. Somehow we went from the banana suit hardcore crowd killing to here. That was the whole tangent.
And that's what the Metal Forge is these days. That's what the Metal Forge is these days. It's more about just conversations with people that are in the metal scene, and like the experiences that you have versus, and I love talking about the bands and everything. I love talking about what you do, but I'm talking about how you get there.
Yeah.
And, like talking about this show in Holda or whatever.
Fulda.
This
Fulda, Indiana.
Marengo.
Oh man. Yeah.
I've got pictures in my desk drawer from Marengo, Indiana shows. And in like 2002, and when I had like long hair, but I had it braided like Davy Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, or Fieldy, at that point.
I guess to put a cap on that thought, at the end of the day, and to your point of like loving talking about music and coming up in being a kid, going to shows, being stoked about it. Like at the end of the day, my main thing is like, I don't ever want to lose that love of playing shows. And I haven't had much that's led me to believe that I will or am. But I think that one of the things that all of us can do and are not obligated, but like what we should do is try and support other people having that same experience. Like I benefited from this kid in my art class telling me about local music, and then benefited from bands from out of town being cool to me, a high schooler, while they were on tour. A bunch, and they're probably in their early 20s. Like, I don't know if they're post college or in college, but like, again, they could have been total shitbags to me, but instead they're like, hey, you know what's really cool is just being chill and being like, hey, look at these high schoolers who are having a great time. Like, we should encourage that. If only in vibes. Like, I don't recall any of them sitting me down and be like, here's what you got to do to be successful in music. It was just, hey man, like, we're taking this seriously and we're having a good time and we're modeling the behavior that we want to see other people do. And so that's definitely the thing that I think all of us can try and bear in mind, is that we are always modeling for the next generation what they should or could be doing and how they should or could be doing it. And people are going to change the approach. I mean, shoot, when I was a kid, we didn't have, you just pulled up the Google sheet. Like, I didn't have a Google sheet to go pull up stuff and be like, and figure out routing. I didn't have, I didn't have
message boards.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even have, I didn't even consider social media, because I didn't get like a social media account until
like 2008 or 9, I'm sure. Probably
Yeah, so
MySpace, maybe 2007.
I had a MySpace, I think, at that time, but I didn't get Facebook until '07, because that's when at the time I got my university email.
Yeah, and you
and
could only do
if you had a .edu. And so when I got my .edu, I could get Facebook. So like, again, trying to go figure out how to play shows and doing that stuff, like still didn't have any concept of how any of that could work. And there were people that were doing it that were my age and succeeded and did the thing and hit the ground. But like, I didn't have access to that. But like, all this is to say, like, being cool and being supportive, like, you don't have, like you're just saying, making it out to shows, you don't make it out as much. You don't have to go to every show. You don't even have to go to any shows. But as long as you're still putting out like support and positive vibes, and when you do see people, talking with them about it or interacting in that positive way, like that's what everybody should be doing.
Sure.
Like, try and leave the world a better way than you found it. Right?
Exactly. And that's exactly what I've said about this. Being in, I don't want this show to ever be like another kind of like a tabloid metal sucks.
Yeah.
Metal injection, a tabloid metal site or whatever like that. That I've always wanted this to be a way to leave it better than how I found it. And it's more about conversing with people rather than, it's about what brings us together and, the things that we all get off on in the music scene and even in the movies and stuff like that. Because I love having multiple types of artists on the show. And I think that is ultimately the thing is, just be cool with one another, put out good vibes, do the thing. You had mentioned about, it was like '07 when you got social media and everything. I think it's about when most people had something going on.
Yeah.
And here we are 20 years into social media.
Boy.
And like the real social media. Like, I don't include the message board era and the instant messengers and stuff like that.
Yep.
Now, like, if you could turn it off tomorrow,
ooh, would I?
Would you turn it off? If you could turn it off and go back to what it was like.
Oh, those are very different questions, though. Those are very different. If I could turn it off.
Okay.
Go back.
So ultimately, you would have to remember how to go back.
Yeah.
How to network it out that way. You would have to go back and find a way to re-network. So, like, if you turned off social media, would you?
So I think for me, like, it's a challenging question, if only because like I said, I'm introverted is my like core nature. I don't think I would have been able to network the way that I have without social media, without being able to go like, and maybe not necessarily like meet bands, because like like if you play a show, you meet a band, etc. But it's like meeting a band and then being able to reach back out to them later to do the thing. This kind of gets this is slightly off topic. Well, it's on topic. Like, I do all of our booking for She through the She band page. I make a conscious effort not to do any booking from my personal page, from my personal social, and that's purely for a organizational tool. I'll forget and I will lose track of stuff in my personal stuff. But what I will do is I'll friend people and I'll follow people from my personal page and I'll interact with them and I'll keep them front of mind from my personal page. But when it comes to booking, it's like my She Instagram is going to message your band's Instagram. And that's my personal preferred method. And I'll accommodate however it needs to be. Like, I'll send an email, or if somebody's like, hey, reach out to this person, or reach out to that person. But I like having it separated out to the band. And so, like, to your question of like, if I could turn it off, like, I think it's a bummer that it's gotten the way it is. I recognize that I'm in the minority in how I interface with social media compared to how the vast majority of people interface with social media. But I think that broadly, it's probably been a net positive. There's a compelling argument to be made to the contrary. But I think that for me, I have found more benefit from the existence and the interactions on social media than I have found negative
I think
impact
we would
on my
definitely
life.
be in a different time. I think we would definitely be, I think it had we not had social media the way we have had social media, I think certain aspects of our history would definitely be a lot
Oh yeah.
darker.
Oh yeah.
We wouldn't be, I don't think marriage equality would be a thing yet. I don't,
Yep.
I really don't, because, I think that's a big social media movement as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's I'm sure a litany of master's thesis written about the impact of social media and the proliferation of information.
Sure.
Like that's the big thing that social media let us do, for better or worse, is information can now freely travel.
Yes, and
in a way that
that's
it never
the
has before.
unfortunate thing,
Good or bad, right?
Right, and not knowing what's real,
and that's the downside. Is I
And-
think that the people generally, it seems like, have lost some of that discernment and the ability to critically look at something and go, this is legit versus this is not.
Sure.
Or to pause and just pump the brakes and go, hey, I don't know if this is legit or not, and I'm okay with acknowledging that and saying I should probably think or figure something else beyond it. Or like taking that to its worst extreme of like, actually nothing is true because everything is questionable. It's like, well, my brother in Christ, like some things, yes, you can question everything, but like we're pretty sure about a lot of stuff. And like whatever you're like, well, actually there's an ice wall that surrounds the entire flat earth, and they won't let you go up into the air far enough to see that the earth is in fact a disc. And you're like, no, that's not it. Like, well, just if you do your own research. No, like the research has been done. There's entire fields of study. Like so much research has been done, and it's constantly being done. Like, and so again, it's this proliferation of information is both good and bad. Good stuff is getting out there, bad stuff's getting out there.
Yeah.
And I think that it's
what I
it's
want to do.
Oh, no.
I saw on Marketplace, and I don't want to be like the conspiracy guy here again, but I'm going to be.
We keep coming back to it.
We just did it again.
God damn it! I'm sorry. I brought up the flat Earth. That was
no, even before that, and that was one of the things. One of the things about somebody asked, why can't you go up in space?
Yeah,
and it's just like, because it doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
it's this.
Yeah,
and but I saw on Marketplace a complete set of Encyclopedia Britannica.
Oh,
from 1947.
Oh no, man! Yeah,
could you imagine going back into that and seeing the stuff that it was recorded from like the 1500s or and stuff like that that didn't get talked about after a certain date?
Yeah,
because think of how much information we have forgotten.
Yeah. Well, I mean, new information is always coming out, right? It's an increasing rate of it. And again, the proliferation rate has only gone up.
That was also another interesting moment where somebody had mentioned that, we are one of the only species that think about ourselves in real time, in memory.
Mm-hmm.
That like we think of things that we did in real time, and we relive that in our, it's such an interesting thing.
Sentience is a curse, baby. Let me tell you,
it is.
It's a rough gig.
Are you a Star Trek fan?
Yeah.
Would you trade places with Data?
Would I trade places with Data?
Like, would you have Data? Like, would you want to be
an
android like that?
I don't think I'd want to be an android like Data. At least I don't think so.
Or would you be like C-3PO?
Oh, between the two, I would definitely pick Data over C-3PO personally. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, man. Now you're gonna have me in my head about this, because ask me on any given day, because I'll fixate on mortality and I'll be like, oh man, I got to figure out how to live forever.
If you could be any species in the Star Trek universe, what would you be?
The Ferengi seem pretty fun.
And my God.
And being able to just be like pleasuring your ears and shit, like, hell yeah, man. The Ferengi are great. Yeah, I don't know.
The only problem with the Ferengi is, they treat women as if they're still second class, and I mean, they're slaves. That's about the downside.
I think the point of Star Trek though is all of the species have their pretty clear, issues going on. That's the point, right? Is hey,
sure.
None of these have it
But
fully.
yeah, being a Ferengi would be interesting, especially because they value like they value like money and power kind of thing.
The rules of acquisition, right?
Yeah, the rules of acquisition.
Their holy text. No, what was there was the joke I was going to say, I forgot. It's like species 8471 or something. It was the antagonist for a little bit during Voyager. It was some random species out there.
I haven't watched Voyager all the way through.
It's fun.
I'm that's going to be my next binge is DS9 and Voyager. And I'm not a big fan of Cisco personally, but like Quark and Odo from that, I dig.
Let me rephrase. I already know if I could be any species, I don't want to be one of the Q from the Q continuum.
Oh yes,
like easy. That never mind. That's the easy answer.
Mon Capitan.
Yeah,
Mon Capitan.
Q man.
Oh yeah, and and I even love the Picard series.
I still need to get around to that.
That's good. I mean, a lot of people hated it, but I like season 3.
Okay.
Season 3 is good. And it's interesting because I always I look at there's something about Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Where two characters come into contact and one of them is Tom Delancey. And it's like it's a moment where he could have been Q.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I can't remember the exact scene, but it's where I think he meets Walter in the bar.
Noted. All right. I'll have to go back and skim through that again.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's something going on, like it's like the episode might be playing in the background or something, but it's something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So I also just generally ask questions.
Sure.
To everybody as well. But before we get to it, what do we have going on with She this year? I mean, because you're not only just in She, you're in a few other bands as well.
Yeah.
So what's going on in the world of Lord Bale?
Boy, howdy. What's not going on? Yeah. So
I know
what
about Bat Pit or
Bat Piss,
Baptiste,
all that. I have a Mandela effect of it being Baptiste. I have like vivid memories of seeing that name Baptiste and being like, oh yeah, that's cool. Shadow from Stagecoach has got a new band called Baptiste. And then like when I showed up for the first time to practice and I said Baptiste, he was like, it's baptized. And I was like, no, it's not. It's on. And then I pulled up Facebook. Oh, what the fuck? And like total Berenstain Bear versus Berenstain Bear.
Yep.
Anyway, so Baptized, we'll start there. Baptized is working on finalizing some songs to go in and record the first full length. So we had done the demo, a 3-song demo ourselves last year, I think it was, that I did for them. We booked some time at Deadbird Studio with Dave Chael. So we're going to go in there in September and knock out as much as we can with that studio time that we have booked. But it should be like a 8 or 9, 10 song full length record is the intention. So Baptized has that. That's the big thing on the radar for them.
So it's going to be, full length record.
Yep.
That takes time.
Yeah.
And now with Baptized, it's fast and raw usually, right?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a fast and raw recording? Are y'all going to do the record to the room and just do some overdubs?
We've talked about it a couple different ways. Originally that was definitely the intent was just plug in and do it live and then do overdubs for vocals or leads and stuff. I think we've backed off of that a little bit. And I think we're going to kind of just see how it feels. When we did the demos, we did most of them. We did like 4 or 5 songs demoed in the practice space. And we did, I think like 2 or 3 of them were to a click. And then 1 or 2 of them were just kind of Steven playing in Trent's ear. So I think we're just going to feel how each song needs to be. Cause you're right. With Baptized, we've had that conscious discussion of the songs should breathe a little bit and that's okay. Not to feel locked into a click. But as we have done more practicing and rehearsing ourselves, or Trent has done more practicing and recording with Scryer and stuff, I think he's gotten more comfortable with the click, and I think he's more open to doing these songs to a click. But nothing set in stone yet. We'll probably feel it out, see how it feels.
Which is rad too, because as you just sit there and said, as he's done it with Scryer and everything, And that's like the whole thing is like that scene is so interesting
Yep.
because there's she,
Yep.
Stagecoach,
Yep.
Scryer,
Yep.
Baptize.
Yep.
Who am I missing? Stonecutters, now
Banshee,
Banshee,
Spore Lord.
Spore Lord.
I'm forgetting other bands. I'm sure I'm gonna feel like Azel. They're not. I was gonna say they're newer. They're not newer. They've been around for a year or two now. Why am I blanking on other like heavy rock bands like that?
Well, what I'm saying is bands that all
El Bisante, Ulm.
No, because that
They have riffs.
no, but what I'm saying is those bands that I just listed though are all have interchangeable members.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh shit. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that's what you're talking
yeah,
about.
the
family tree.
the family
Sorry.
tree, Baptize,
There's a whole bunch of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we did that New Year's show. It was like 2 years ago. That was every band that shared members with She, because I booked it.
Yeah.
And it was because that
the
was
She show.
Yeah, it was us, Stonecutters, at the time Redivider.
Yes.
And then Baptize. So now you would swap out. And so, well, you're asking what's going on in my world. So spoiler alert, it hasn't been announced yet. You get the world premiere. You get the world announced. I've told a couple friends about it. So my birthday is in October. And so again, as I just said, my thing is I love playing shows. That's what fills my battery. And I've ran my mouth enough about it to the She Boys about it. So for my birthday this year, I booked a show at MAG. It'll be Friday, October 16th. So all 4 of my bands are going to play back to back. So I'm going to play 4 back-to-back sets on my birthday.
That's awesome.
I'm very excited and nervous about it because I don't know if I will physically be able to do that, but we're going to try it and see what happens. So yeah, keep an eye out. It'll get announced in an event page and a flyer up in not too terribly long. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, so it'll be.
And October is an open month for me from doing any kind of show stuff. So
you'll be there.
So yeah,
all right,
I'll be there. It's far enough in the calendar. I can throw the dart and make it.
You can watch me fall over of exhaustion probably halfway through the second set, but we're gonna do it. We're back 4 back-to-back sets. I don't know how I'm gonna pull it off. I gotta start working on my cardio.
And you got to make sure everybody you have to change your gear from side to side too.
Jesus. No, I did. I've already specifically planned the band order so that I don't have to do much shifting. So it'll go the first Loreborn will open it. So I'll play bass and do vocals there. Then Atrophic will play. So then I'll just play bass. Then Baptize will play. So I'll swap over to the other side of the stage and play just guitar. And then She will close out. And so then I'll play guitar and do vocals. So my vocals are bookending it. So I'm not back to back on that.
That's
and
good.
Then I'm bucketing my instruments 2 and 2.
Hey, and see, that's what's awesome about it. And doing some wild shows with Ice Howl, where we've been doing like 2 sets.
Yeah.
And being an original band doing 2 sets, that's the other thing. Yeah. And like I used to, and you've seen me play live in Overload.
Yeah.
And I'm like nuts on stage. I'm all over the place. I'm almost falling down. I am literally almost falling down. And I get that way with Ice Howl too. But then we play these shows where it's like, all right, now
you gotta pace yourself.
And now I have to pace it. And I'm just like still trying to do it. I'm like, all right, now I gotta recharge. Let's go hit the snack bar and get the carbs in.
Yep.
Because being diabetic, you got to watch that stuff.
Yep.
And doing all the things. So Baptize recording.
Baptize working.
Hell yeah. She.
Yeah. So we recorded. We're way behind. We recorded some drums with Dave Chale at Deadbird last September to November, somewhere in there. I can't remember specifically. So we have 4 new songs. We recorded drums to them. And then we're going to record our own guitars and bass and vocal stuff, and then try and take all of that and pass it off to someone to do the mix and master. I've just been very slow to getting on that. But Zach just recorded his bass last week. I recorded some guitar stuff last night. And then Jace is going to come over next week and do guitar, and then I'll have to punch in vocals and make sure all the stuff is edited down and if I need to do any overdubs and figure
Sure.
it out. But so like I would say that like that'll be out by the end of the year. I don't have a set timeline as to when we're going to do it, but we're just going to do a 4-song EP with that. Originally the goal was, oh, it'll just be a quick 4-song thing. How easy. And then we sat on our butts and didn't do anything. So
Yeah.
next time it'll be
That's
faster.
what I was also going to say is having a family tree like you do. Sometimes that does kind of get in the way with things, right?
Yeah, it eats up
Because
time.
not only do you have to contend with Baptize's schedule,
Yep.
but you also have to contend with She's schedule.
Yep.
And like if Stonecutters do anything,
Yep.
and they're pretty, they do what they do,
Yep.
but or Stagecoach,
Yep.
you know, and then if you're also helping track any of those bands, and
Yep.
and then so now it's like you're filling the time, and it's like we're sitting on our butts, but it's like, well, it's really just scheduling it.
It's doing other things.
Yeah,
too.
and plus you have sound gigs that you're doing,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you have a day job, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going on tour, and you're practicing, and so it's like, where does anybody find the time? And it's just like,
carve out where you can. It's I'm mostly just mad at myself for not holding myself accountable to I had set when I wanted to do the things, and then those times came and went, and I was like, and I just didn't push as aggressively as I probably could have to
right.
get that wrapped.
Next time. I always set myself a goal. I'm
Yep.
like, all right,
yeah,
red letter date.
That's what happened for us was, and honestly for Baptized too, because like we've been kind of sitting on these songs for a while, and I said, I was like, man, what we should do is we should just, like you said, book the time. If we book the time, we've booked it. That's when we're going to go do it, and that'll make us do it. And that's how we got the last album recorded, and that's how we got these drums recorded. Was because we kept being like, oh, when are we going to do it? When are we doing it? And I was like, all right, Tyler, we're going in today's on these dates. Here's your pre-pro. You can do it, and then I'll figure it out. So what I needed to do, what I should have done, and I did this to myself recently with the self-recording stuff, was do the same thing, set my own self-recording days, book my basement. I have studio date in my basement,
sure,
on this date, and then just do it. So yeah, setting a deadline, setting a goal, love it.
Absolutely, yeah, you have to.
Yep.
Hell yeah. And that's really what you've got to do. So hopefully by the end of the year, something will come out.
Yeah. So it should be a 4-song EP from She by the end of the year, unless something wild happens. But I can't imagine it wouldn't be by the end of the year. So
I'm assuming, are we going to go back? What is this, a Ryan Case piece as well? Is this
no? So the album art for this one will end up being done. It's already done by Bucky. And actually, if you can get a sneak peek of it, if you come to any of our shows that we've got coming up, the next one locally, we're playing in Lexington this coming weekend. So you won't, by the time you hear this, you'll have missed it. But we're playing Magbar Music Fest. We should in July. We may still have some of these shirts. We did some tie dye and some bleach dye shirts with the album art for this on the front. It's these 4 critters, kind of. It's that classic kind of cheesy, like Howling at the Moon, like animals things.
I've seen that shirt.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah.
So we got 4 critters on there. So that's the EP will be called 4 Critters. And it's a
4-song EP.
It's 4-song EP, 1 song per critter.
Absolutely.
It's all comes
more
together.
bang for your buck.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So some general questions for Lord Vale. How is life calling you?
Ooh, how's life calling me? It's pretty good. I mean, we've, like you said, we're keeping busy with the music stuff, keeping busy with like personal life stuff and work. Work's been fine. It's things are broadly pretty good, as good as they can be in the year of our Lord 2026, right?
Good deal. I mean, hey, it's an ebb and a flow.
Yes.
I mean, everybody has good days. Everybody has bad days. Everybody has up downs, all arounds, and all you can really do is just take it as it comes. And I mean, I hate to say hope for the best, but
it's all any of us can do, right?
It is really in what you try to do.
Yeah.
And if you feel like there's a void, try to fill that void somehow.
Yep.
100%. That's really, I just try to be more meaningful anymore. Like try to just be on the up and up. And I think everybody out there has things that they're not proud of doing in the past.
Yep.
and with today's social media,
Yeah.
it is such a crazy time where it's just like, up is down and down is left. And, like when you see people like completely get chastised for things that they've done, and then like a few years goes past, and then, you know, like the world changes a little bit, and
Yep.
then that horrible thing that this person done was excused,
Yeah.
is like an excusable thing because they were an active addiction at the time,
Yeah.
or something, and it's just a weird thing of how we just perceive the thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess to me,
I think it's important to give everybody space to learn and grow and acknowledge. And like you said, everybody's made their mistakes. Some are more egregious than others. And some things, hey man, it's like you can do a thing and like if you found peace, great. But you can't expect everybody to forgive you. And you can't expect forgiveness from other people. And you don't, and there's no obligation for you to forgive other people. But
Yep.
at the end of the day, like, man, all you can do is the best you can. You got to acknowledge your mistakes that you've made, learn from them, grow from them, and try and make every day better than last one, and try and help
Yeah.
as many people and harm as few as you can.
Exactly. And the thing is, and here's the other thing on that as well, is if you've ever been harmed,
Yep.
The only thing that you can do is, don't actively talk shit.
Yeah.
But just steer business away.
Yeah.
I mean, I would prefer not to do business with that person. And
Yeah.
and you could state your reasons why.
Yep.
But and that's really, I mean, that's all you do. And that's the cool thing about it, I guess, is like you have that opportunity to take the upper hand, I guess. And I don't think a lot of people, especially in like, and I don't want to say especially in like metal, because that's not really true, because it's really in anything.
I was saying anything. There's people who operate in every scene and in every corner that are taking advantage or have been taken advantage of. I think the human experience is not quite as varied as we might want to think, from like social strata to social strata. Like we're all doing the same kinds of things thematically. And again, it's at the end of the day, giving people grace as much as you can, or as much as you would want grace for your own things, and just doing the best you can every day. And if you make mistakes, you go, hey, made a mistake, learning from it, growing from it. And if you move forward, then you do. And if you don't, then man, that's what it is.
Sure. That's absolutely true. And I do want to point this out, because I know anytime you've been brought up on the Metal Forge with other people, like whether we've talked about the spreadsheet or whatever, I've always said Bob is such a sweetheart. And that right there is why. That is right there is why.
Inappropriate things to get my mean cred back up.
Exactly. Exactly. Look at all the smiles here. And the cat in the box over here, not taking a shit either. If money wasn't an issue, what would you do with your time?
If money wasn't an issue, I would do nothing but go play shows. I would try and be on the road all the time. I would love to do longer tours, would love to do multiple different bands, be a professional touring musician, any of that kind of stuff. If that could pay the bills, I would do it in a heartbeat. Or if that could pay the bills in a way that affords the lifestyle that I currently live, where I'm pretty comfortable and happy.
I always assumed that I would always take what I make at my current job.
Yep.
And I always take what I make at my current job and multiply that with my band Overload by 4.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 members, and then you've got to have an operating income for the band.
Yep.
So say you make 50 grand a year.
Yep.
So you're looking at a band that has to turn around 200 grand.
Yep.
So everybody has their 50 grand, and the band has 50 grand to operate off of.
Yep.
So you're not really, so that's it, you breaking even.
Yep.
And which is pretty much what you're doing in your day jobs now. So it's like, if you could all dedicate the time to do it, you could do it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why bands like Metallica are the way they are, is because they did that. They all quit, they didn't work, and they all lived off of people.
It's all, I mean, for me, right, the flip side of that is your day job is broadly guaranteed.
Yeah.
Right. I know I'm going to get paid. Whereas if you're doing the music thing, it's like, well, you might get paid. I mean,
Yeah.
again, and that's where
That goes back to the business
I
thing.
guess the business thing. I mean, that's like my friends in Howling Giant, right? Like
Love
they
them.
do they have other jobs that they do and they pick up work where they can, but like the band is part of their personal revenue and income, but their jobs are different than my job is.
Sure.
And that's why you see, I think a lot of touring band people do things that are in the gig economy, right? And and I think that that's a cool opportunity for them, like the prevalence and the growth of the gig economy things.
Well, most people do the wait staff, or they work in a kitchen, or whatever. Yeah.
Or they're doing things that they can do fully remote if they're so lucky. All those different kinds of things can help. I mean, shoot, what was it? Dude, he just posted on like the Indianapolis Reddit from, I think, Grave Ripper. He's looking for a drummer because he's like, hey, I've got music to do national tours for multiple weeks, but I need someone that can commit to these timeframes, and that's challenging, especially as you get older. So
shout out to Corey then.
If money, great band, killer band.
Oh God, they're so good. Love those dudes.
If money were no object, it would be dip out from all personal work things and just go do music stuff. I love what I do for work. I think it's very fun, and I just got really stoked at work today. My boss was like, why are you so excited? I'm like, I get to go solve a problem. This is fun. But like, it doesn't like emotionally fulfill me, but that's fine. I don't need emotional fulfillment from job. I'm very boomery in my upbringing in that, like, my boss is like, how can we make you feel more fulfilled at work? I'm like, I don't know, pay me. Like,
give me some more money.
That's why I come to work, is for a paycheck, so that then I can go do emotional things not at work.
Yeah,
I'm good. And she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes. She's like, but you're a millennial. I'm like, well, I was raised by boomers. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
A waspy millennial. But yeah, that the answer to your question.
I get you. I get that.
Yeah.
Because my parents, my dad was 45, born in 45, and my mom was born in 53. So yeah, I totally get you.
Same.
What abilities did you have? What was an ability you had as a child?
An ability?
Yeah. I know one that I can think of right now that I cannot do to this day.
An ability?
But I could when I was a kid. I could snap with both hands.
You can't.
I cannot snap with my left hand anymore. Because I'm just so far out of practice.
Weird. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I have an ability I could do as a kid that I can't do now, or one that I would have had as a kid.
Like, I mean, filling your ears, flaring your nostrils.
No, nothing comes to mind. I was just a rambunctious little shit. That's all that's probably that's what it would be. When I was a kid, I was significantly more outgoing than I am now. I was way more like I have ADHD, and like it was significantly more prevalent or manifested as a kid in the hyperactive side. And so I was way more like, I'm gonna go talk to random people. So
hell yeah, I get that. What's something you're afraid of doing?
Going back to my doctor and getting blood drawn again. Don't want to do that. That was no fun. I'd never been that. I'm very bad at being an adult. I'd never been to a PCP in my adult life.
But he has done PCP in his adult life.
No, that's demonstrably untrue. No, so
it's gonna be cut into a clip now.
He's doing PCP. No, I was having some issues, and I was talking to somebody about it, like, you should go. Like, you should go see your doctor. And I'm like, I don't have a doctor. They're like, you're 38. And I'm like, I know. And I'm like, go to the doctor. So I did. And the doctor's like, yeah, so we need to do blood work. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to pass out right now just thinking about it. And so I kind of did. And then he was like, all right, well, we can schedule another time for you to do this. But yeah, so I went back and had the blood work done, and everything came back broadly fine. But he was like, yeah, we don't need to do this again for another like year or two. But yeah, that would be,
usually it's a year.
Yeah. So I'm very grateful. Mine was like, yeah, like, you don't need to do it every other year or every year. This is his opinion. He's like, so like, you can do it in 2 years. And I was like, and especially because it came back good enough. So I was like, oh, thank God. Because didn't like that. Not a fan of it. don't look forward to doing it again. So answer to your question, thing I'm afraid of doing, going and getting blood work again.
Interesting. You know that, but you don't have tattoos or anything either.
Sure don't.
Yeah, and it's completely different. It's
Very
completely
different,
different feel. Yeah. But what is one thing that you're never afraid of doing?
Ooh, never afraid of doing.
That somebody would be. And I'm going to say excluding playing on stage.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would probably be. Although I'm still kind of like, I'm not afraid of playing on stage, but I still get stage nervous. I'm never like, this is dumb. Like, I don't mind like, I know some people who are nervous about airplanes, and like I grew up around them, so like they're not exciting to me. And I'm not nervous about them. It's just like annoying more than anything. It's like, man, let me go sit in this tube for 3 hours or whatever.
Mhm.
So yeah, sure, airplanes. Getting in an airplane
Yeah.
generally, like passenger planes, like easy airplanes. Like I'm not going up and doing aerobatics and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, just getting in planes. Sure.
Yeah, I'm that way too. Like I always, if it's years between flying for
Yeah.
me, I got nervous, but like, more often than not, I put on the same song now every time I fly. It's Flying High by High Spirits.
Okay.
And when we're taking off, and it's as the runway now appears, we're flying here, we're flying high. And it's great stuff. And it's just, it kicks in right as you're.
Yeah. Alternate response to the question of what of not being afraid, asking for help. Maybe not in personal life. I'm bad at doing that, but like at work, or if I don't know something, I have zero issue with acknowledging I don't know it. And I'm just being like, hey man, can you answer this or help me out with a thing?
Yeah. And that's good, because a lot of people don't do that.
I learned that early on. I was like, man, you're not going to get help if you don't, unless you ask for it. So like at work, especially, I'm just like, hey, do you know what this thing is? And I don't mind falling on my sword about it and being like, hey, I know I should know this, but I don't. So like, there's no point in me hiding it. Like, let's just get past it, because then I can move on with my life and you can with yours. So like, again, owning your shortcomings and just being like, yeah, I don't know this. Teach me.
Yeah. And yeah, that's totally in my day job. That's how it is as well.
Yep.
What part of life would you put a big warning label on?
Part of life warning label. Ooh, late teens to early 20s. Just being like, hey, it's supposed to kind of suck maybe a little bit. It's okay for you to be like, hey, this all sucks. Like everybody's feels that way. It's all kind of sucky. We're all in that really awkward stage of going, I'm not quite an adult, but I'm too old to be a kid and I don't really know what's going on. It's like, hey, bud, nobody really does. And if they do, they're either in the super minority, or they're lying. They don't know what's going on, or they think they know what's going on, and it's all going to shift in 3 years anyway. Sure. So yeah, early 20s to late teens, just being like, hey man, you're in the weird time. Don't sweat it. Just try and enjoy what you can in there, and let it come to pass, and then move on once you hit 23 to 25.
Hell yeah. If you could relive 1 year of your life,
ooh,
and just relive it, what year would it be? Like what age and year?
Do I get to change anything?
No.
Okay, I just go through it. Am I conscious of it though? Am I like, I'm reliving this life this year?
Yeah, I mean, you're reliving it. You know that you've seen this before.
Probably so it would have been like, I would have been 18, was in high school. I did a summer in Japan that was really cool, and I wish I had better memories of it, so I'd like to redo it so that I could crystallize those memories.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. See, and I was around 17 was mine. So around 2001, low battery.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, like around 2001.
Yeah.
I think, being the most active as a band, and then like, playing like every weekend as a teenager and shit, all through summer, and like different like Indiana small towns type stuff was fun times back in those days, when you were just calling places to get shows or dropping off CDs.
I probably would change some of I'd want to change the things, but if I'm not able to change them, that would still be cool. Just to like reignite those memories and be like, and really pay more attention to what was going on and where I was at and really enjoying it more.
For sure. I have two more. Okay. But before we get to it, I'm going to ask both of them last.
Boy.
Kind of a two thing here. But before we get to it, as always, links, they're listed below. So please give likes, shares, follows, go do all the things, all the stuff.
Smash the subscribe button.
Yeah, I never really say that. I
click the bell.
Yeah, click the bell, subscribe. I never do that for my stuff. That's never do. I do it for everybody else though.
Okay.
I'm always saying go like, subscribe, do all their things for them. Buy shirts, buy merch, buy stuff on tour. She is active on tour in the Midwest for sure. They try to get everywhere that they can because Bob puts out a spreadsheet that is amazing. I've linked to it below several times into the Metal Forge because I believe in it. And, it was one of the things that I wish we always had too back in the day. That where we just didn't have to like book on a message board.
It's one of those things, right? Like the whole point of it was I was like, I'm sick of having to figure this out myself. If I can just put this in one spot, that probably helps me. And I'm like, I bet someone else might get helped out of this. So like,
and I did.
If you see a need in the world, man, and you can fill it with little, like, and that's the thing is it wasn't any work for me. It wasn't any money for me. So
I have a suggestion to make for it.
Go for it.
But I'm going to do it all fair.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, because this one matters.
Okay. All right. I'll do my best. We'll see. No promises.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any shout outs or any shout outs you would like to give to anybody or anything else you would like to promote?
Shout out to all the bands that we've talked about today. Basically, all of the Louisville music scene has been great. Shout out to the Magnolia Bar for being such a great stomping ground in hometown.
Sponsor of the Metal Forge with Pizza DoNisi.
Well, hell yeah. DoNisi's
shout out to Steve and Seth and everybody at the Mag Bar, Steven.
The Magnolia
DJ Kim Jackson.
Yeah, man. All those dudes have been great. Our boys in Crop out of Lexington, those guys have been day ones for us, and I still fondly remember the first interactions with them, and I tell that story all the time. So they just announced they're doing a tour with Friendship Commanders in August. So again, any listeners that go pull up the Crop or Friendship Commanders socials and look and see if they're coming to your town. So yeah, all of our friends, basically we've got a playlist in our link tree that's like, I think it's called Rock and Roll Friends. It's basically just a bunch of bands that we know and stuff. So it's overdue for being cleaned up. Much like my spreadsheet, I'll create these things and then I'm like, cool, I'm done. And then I make a lot of more friends, or I'm like, I forgot somehow other friends that we know.
Yeah, you gotta have a moderator, I think. But then finding a good and a decent enough moderator is hard to do.
Yeah, especially for something that doesn't pay.
Exactly. Exactly.
Total passion project.
Exactly. So final question.
Sure.
What's the best sandwich?
The best sandwich. I am a big fan of just an Italian hoagie, just in a hot, and I'm a fan of the hot Italian hoagie.
Yes.
A hot Italian hoagie, big fan, love it. So yeah, that's probably one of my, it's either that or very niche. When I go up on vacation with my family in Maine, we will get, it's like bogus bullshit ass stuff. It's just like grocery store bread and grocery store deli roast beef and like Hillshire Farms Swiss cheese. But like for whatever reason, it's
the best sandwiches ever.
Those three things up on vacation in Maine, sitting out on the porch with some fucking like spread of some kind of, and it's just like, yeah, this is my I only eat this on vacation.
Some local mustard.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, it's there's
one
greatest.
Of those two things.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. No, for sure. Like for me, I love that. I love like going to a place and finding like a place that makes sandwiches.
Yeah.
Out in Lanesville, the grocery store there, the little convenience store does.
Oh,
and they're like $6.99.
Oh,
and
hell
it's
yeah.
like roast beef. It's like a half a pound of roast beef.
You love it. You love it.
And you're just like throw the lettuce on and you said the hot Italian hoagie, you know, and yes, I went to the grocery this last week and I bought the hot Italian sub mix of meat. And it's like, getting that with banana peppers. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so good.
Love it. Yes,
I love it.
That's the sandwich answer for sure.
That is definitely a great sandwich answer. I had last week, I had a Reuben, a Cuban, and something else, and I can't remember that one, but the two rhymed, so they were good.
That's good.
And so my final question, and I always like to get out there and ask, like, what's the big things? Like,
okay,
what do you feel is the biggest threat to humanity?
Ourselves. Like, we as a species seem hell-bent on being like, what would be really cool is if we made it really hard for ourselves to exist in every way, shape, and form. Like, we've built our society in such a way that it's the pyramid, right? It's patriarchal, it's top down, and some things make sense for that, like, to be the way that it's organized, but like, we've seemed to basically think that everything should be top down. And as opposed to like group consensus, like one level, like one broad level, and we all kind of figure out how things work, recognizing that that's kind of pie in the sky and a little bit woo woo, but like, we are going to end up being our own demise, because we're going to prioritize like commodities. We're going to prioritize made up stuff that we've said this has value, and this value means that we should extract energy from people, from places, from things. I think we're our own threat. Right. Like, we will extinct ourselves before anything else extincts us.
Do you feel like we have already done that once?
Ooh, man. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think the fossil record supports that, but maybe it does.
I mean, when you sit there and when you seriously look at all of these things, like, were we a lot closer to these other ends of civilizations, like, based off of like the way we've counted, and like, are we actually really counting the right way? Were dinosaurs really 60 million years ago?
Yeah.
Because think of like what the depths that we've excavated to, and after so far, there's no dinosaurs past 8,000 feet or whatever.
Yeah.
But we went to like 30 or 40,000 feet deep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's some crazy shit to think about. Like, when you think about like excavation and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what's down there that we don't know about?
Man, the bottom of the ocean is probably a super interesting spot to hang out. Crushing in every way. I don't know. I don't know if we've done this to ourselves before. That's some cool sci-fi shit. Big into that as like a concept for sure. Fuck, that sounds like some what's their name? Bale Sagoth. They're like a old, like, thrashy black metal band with like weird narration about Atlantis and space and Starforge stuff, and like the guy sounds like Olmec from Legends of the Hidden Temple when he narrates.
That's great.
If you've not checked out Bale Sagoth, they're
Legends
awesome.
of the Hidden Temple.
It'll be like, and then also it's like, into the mines they go, deep within the bowels of the temple god. And you're like, whoa, fuck. It's like,
you should do that as a side hustle.
Doing the
doing voices.
Olmec from the Hidden Temple.
Just no, not even just that. Like, do that. Dante is a voiceover actor.
He is. I've seen a lot of his stuff. He's really good at it. He's also got that much better, like, resonant bassy voice.
Yeah,
mine is really a little bit more in that.
He has a very good tenor
baritone world, but
he does. So, Lord Bale, on our way out today, thank you again so much. I appreciate you for doing this. Fist bumps as always.
Yeah.
Dude, always welcome here in the Metal Forge. I love you. Seriously, on our way out, what are we playing from She?
Oh boy. Man,
I pretty much own everything.
Hell yeah. Will you put on so it's a song that we never play live. We should play it more. So it's the instrumental ones, track 6 off of Pure Disgust, called The Howl, which is named after our friends in Howling Giant, whose shirt I'm wearing. So
you heard him. The Howl. Metal every day.
Everyday metal.
Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza DoNisi. Pizza DoNisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, the sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken, fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the ultimate underground metal tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza DoNisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza DoNisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out. In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shadebeast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shadebeast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shadebeast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code METALFORGE10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now.
In a broken wasteland,